Right, so here's where I'm at the moment. I made a couple of sleeves. These are just sleeves, they're just pushed on at the moment. So I just made these two sleeves to go over the half shaft and the half shaft on the diff. I've just cut the original axle down to fit that, and I've also made a new frame for it. The old frame, which is down there, where it had that cross bit right up the middle where the seat and that goes, everything was in the way because this diff goes in the middle. So time I'd cut that about, I thought I might just as well make a new one. So this is it, what I've done so far. I think what I'm probably going to do is just weld these sleeves and half shafts all together so the axle's complete. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm just going to get on, turn it over and see how I'm going to mount the motor and everything, and I won't show you all that pissing about. It's just more of the same what I did before. I've just got to get it on there somehow. I'll come back when I've done that. So, on top of everything else, the microphone seems to have packed up. What I'm showing you here is that with all that in, the diff where there's a little bit of play in it is a little bit loose. So I've decided to get a pillow block on there and mount it on a bit of metal across the frame. And here is the pillow block that's arrived. It's bloody huge. I'm not sure if it's not going to stick up above the frame. Fortunately there is a 5mm gap, so I will be able to get a bit of angle iron across there, make some spacers and weld the angle iron on and just bolt it in. And here it is, all bolted on. I'll put a bit more welding around the end of the sleeves I made just to make sure they stay on. And you can't see them, but there's 5mm spacers underneath there. I had to cut a little bit of the angle iron off on the corner there, because these two pins that you can see in here now, these two bolts sticking up, because when I did try it out earlier with the these two pins here, yeah, with the bag on the front, it was very hard to control it, so I've decided to remount the bag on the back. So there it is. It's just a pole with the old bits on it to mount the bag, and it sits on them two pins and bolts on that bit of metal across the back. So now I've just got to get the mudguard back on, paint it and give it a test round the park, see if it don't fall to bits. So this is the latest iteration of the golf buggy. I'll zoom in here, you can see I've got my little torque converter on there, the diff down there and whatever. Well, I took it up the golf course to the practice ground yesterday to give it a go, and I've got to tell you, it was rather disappointing. It goes beautifully on a bit of concrete, on the flat, whatever, but when you get to a bit of an hill on the grass, it struggles to the point of overloading something. I think there's a thermal cutout in the controller and it pops it. Now I don't know, but I'm wondering if my torque converter does work, but it's putting too much torque down onto the wheels for the motor. I think it's like me trying to pedal a 5-speed bike in 5th uphill. That's what I'm hoping anyway. So I'm going to do away with the torque converter and do it directly from the motor to the axle and see if that works. I don't know what revision this is. This is revision, umpteenth revision to this golf buggy, and if this don't work, I'm going to take it to bits and make something else out of it. So, it's a sad end, but an end it is. It still didn't work properly, even without the torque converter on it. So, I've stripped everything out of it. It's time for it to be repurposed. Now, I don't think it was the motor. I don't think it was the torque converter. I don't think it was the diff. I think it was purely that the control unit. I mean, this is the control unit. I mean, it is a 500 watt 24 volt control unit, but I just don't think it can handle the amps that's being pulled when it's taking a fat bloke and a set of golf clubs and the weight of the buggy on a golf course. It would need a bigger controller. I can't really find one. Not a 24 volt one, a 500 watt motor that will be much bigger in amperage. It just buggers everything up and operates some sort of thermal cutout. Hasn't actually broke anything, it just packs up and it just cannot pull the amps you need for going up the hills. So that's it. I'm giving up on it. It is the end of the golf buggy. Well, it was a sad end for the golf buggy, but not necessarily a sad end to the whole story. Because I went on eBay and bought this one. It's a Patterson Trio, 20 years old. It was in a bit of a state when I got it. Had flat tyres, needed new batteries, but I've had this on the golf course and it works fine. Well, you can't win them all. See you in the next one. Bye for now.